Hello everybody, Mr. Moo here in the cockpit of the DSRV Amundsen. Not the Bifrost as usual, this is my older exploration vessel, which I've retrofitted to be kind of a rescue, kind of a general purpose research ship. Doesn't quite have the same legs as the Bifrost, but it can still get around in a pretty good hurry. Also changed the HUD colors a little bit, trying to adjust to my Vive, and it looks like the green is working a lot better than the blue, so sorry if that bothers anybody, but, you know, gotta change things around a little bit. So, where are we? We are in the Achenar system, and we are approaching the monster planet Achenar 3, a terrestrial world you can actually land on. Why are we heading there? Well, because that's the topic of today's video. So, you want to land on a high-G world. Achenar 3 is the place to test if you have the Achenar permit. Otherwise, I'll see if there's some other high-G worlds that to test on if you don't have the permit for here. But this place is really good for testing your landing skills, your ship build, etc. Because the surface gravity on this beastly world is 6.73 Gs. If you can make it here, you can make it damn near anywhere. So, coming in on approach, let's turn on the orbit line so we don't go Star Trekking past or end up smashing into the gravity step at, you know, Mach oh my god. And later on, I'll probably also do a video on if you want a good planetary approach to installations, cities, etc. If anybody's got any interest in that. But right now, let's try the more extreme of the landing forms. You want a good approach. Also, try to put your nose right about here relative to the planet. That way it lets you bleed off speed at a decent rate. Gives you a nice controlled entry. And whatever made that hole hit really, really hard based on the ejector rays coming out there. Just a little bit of astrogeography, I guess. I'm killing time, can you tell? Alright, starting to get a surface reading on the gravity here on the lower right of my, well, just underneath my altitude there.
Orbital flight engaged.
I'm going to nose up to a 45-degree down angle. You want to enter orbital cruise at, I believe it's under 200 kilometers per second. And you want to drop from orbital cruise, you want to drop down at under 10 kilometers per second. Anything higher than that, and it's going to drop you out as going too fast, and then you're going to suffer hull damage. Screaming, crying, you know, things on fire. Not good. Crossing the step at 6.6, 6.66, 6.67. Six point 69, and we're in the glide. 6.70, and we're in the glide. All right. Okay, as the glide ends, we want to nose up to level. Okay, so we are holding steady at 3.64 kilometers over the surface. Now here's where things get interesting, because if you apply just a little bit of down thrust, you're going to accelerate towards the ground. So, what you want to do is point your nose to the sky, point your rear end at the ground, and use your main thrusters as your retros. Now, you want to turn off flight assist and just kind of give a little pulse. Pulse your flight assist. Turn it off, turn it back on. And try to keep your speed... Well, at this altitude I like it to be around 70 meters per second or less. He says as he approaches 80. This is not going to be a fast approach. It's going to be a very slow and careful and measured approach, so you don't end up turning into a new crater on this planet. And once you start getting a lot closer to the surface, then you go for lower speeds. 20 meters per second, something like that. Gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
As you can see, as you level out, when the main thrusters aren't providing the station keeping you need anymore, then you start dropping a little bit. And it's saying the alignment is okay, but it really isn't. So, try to get a little bit of altitude here. Come on. No, you want to. There you go. Everything about a high G landing is done slowly. I cannot stress that enough. Because otherwise you get that. Shields.
Power diverted to systems.
Set 1-2. There. We made it. No SRVs on board, that's probably a good thing. I tried landing my Anaconda the other day on this world, and I deployed the SRV, and then I set the autopilot to throw the ship back into orbit, and what happened was the ship started porpoising. Really massive oscillations from nose to tail, seesawing back and forth, and I would just raise the nose up and then slam it into the ground. Finally, the autopilot, which I'm convinced the AI in this game stands for artificial idiot, managed to get the nose to 90 degrees, hit the boosters, and climb out. And I thought that's when the troubles were over. No. No, I recalled the ship. To its credit, the autopilot actually managed to land the ship with 30% of the hull left. Yay. But I'm going to have a little talk with my autopilot, and it's going to be over logic probe, and it's going to involve some very pointy words and pointier probings. Anyway, we're here on the ground. You can deploy an SRV here if you want. You will drive around like, well, you will stay sucked to the surface. That's a blessing and a curse, because you can get a really good turn of speed going, but that rock up ahead, you won't bounce over that rock. You will just hit that rock and stop. So, high G driving around on in an SRV. Take your time, get to know the surface, get to know the conditions. Anyway, we're here, we're on the surface, we've successfully landed, no hull damage, the shields are back, set to 1. Okay, next. Let's get off this rock. Because landing is only the halfway point. Gear up.
Landing gear raised.
Alright, and we're accelerating slowly, but we are accelerating, and that's the important part. And notice I've been doing all of this without the use of boosters. So if you have an exploration ship that you've skimped on the power distributor in order to save weight, you can still pull this off. Anyway, we are clear. Let's get the hell out of here. Alright, we are in climb out. So, there you go, how to successfully land and return to orbit on a high G world, Achenar 3, 6.73 G at the surface. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Fly safe, Commanders.